Welcome back, AI Explorers. Together, my brother and I are going to walk you through Midjourney version 7. Now, several weeks ago, we talked about personalizing your own profile. And as you enter Midjourney 7, you actually can't access it until you've turned on personalization and created a version 7 profile. And so today, my brother Warren's going to show you what that experience is like. We might skip ahead for sake of brevity here, but you've got to pick like 200 photos, and then you can finally dive into some of those extra special features of Midjourney 7, like draft mode. We'll look at that also. Warren.
Yeah, just for clarity's sake, you can still use 7 without doing the personalization. You just can't use the draft mode without the personalization. So, and what's interesting is I hadn't yet used this, and Jacob has, so he's done his personalization. So I thought I could come in here to my personalization and just turn it on and then go to create and say draft mode, but then it kicks up this and it says unlock your personalization to use version 7. So I would have to walk through the personalization. We'll select a couple of these and say, I like this techno one. I'm going to go with the none.
That's funny. I didn't go with the none. I skipped it. I'm surprised that it's the same photos. Now I don't recognize them, but the first two I did.
Okay. Well, I like the architect. I like both of these, but I like the architect better. I'm going to go with
choose your own adventure. I think because you chose the none, you're getting different images.
Right. This is a hard choice for me. Can I go with that? Oh, yeah, that.
Dude, but the owl and sunglasses, it was cool.
Yeah. Like that.
I was surprised by how often I chose like a well-composed image of like a house as opposed to something super creative that I didn't like as much.
Ooh. Food photography versus the train.
But I like the style of both. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the problem with picking some of these is like, oh, yeah. Oh, now it gives me a train.
I wonder what the model is trying to figure out from each decision as well, right? Like, why contrast these two images? Like, what are you telling them? That fire is cool. The meatballs versus the backpack.
The Apaches. Yes, please. That's a little more gore than I care. Call of Duty or a cute kitten. We're going to go with the cute kitten. Oh, I just love the idea of the balloons there. That's fantastic. I'm going to go with the Oriental fellow.
The emus, that's fun.
The emu for sure. The vintage car. Love the angle of this image.
The wolf on the sheep.
Well, the sheep's heads look a little on the weird side. I'm going to skip this one. Muscle car.
Yeah, I think I'd have gone.
Oh, this is
dope. Stellar. Can you download that image before you move on? It looks that is fantastic. That's funny.
I'm gonna have to go with the cheetah as the. I really like this Oriental one, but they're gonna have to go with the cheetah just for the fun of that one. I mean, that's fantastic. Oh, I love the architecture of this, the brutality of it. Go with the colors. Oh, food photography, hands down. Link.
Pretty stellar. It's a good photo.
Yeah, we'll go with Link. I like the ghosts. And the ring.
Both of those are cool.
Pandas.
I wonder what this would
polar bears.
I wonder how the personalization would work if I got my daughters to do it. I wonder what they would choose. Like, would it lead to more and more kids stuff, or would it,
I crashed a UFO in the middle of the forest with Bigfoot in the style of Thomas Kincaid. That is fantastic.
That is a pretty fantastic mix.
I like the contrast. It looks like they're doing like, more complex, and then I like the Pixar. Yeah.
Well, I'm really curious to see the difference in personalization because you have made choices that sometimes I've seen the same pictures and I know I picked the other one. So I'm really curious how our styles will be different. What is determined in the AI by choosing between those two pictures? You know, a dude or a girl, like they seem just diametrically different. Like they're completely.
Well, and look at this selection here. So we have a
Yeah.
mature woman in a similar pose and a younger girl in the same ish pose. Her hands are really weird, so I'm going to go with the better one.
The one with the good hands. Yeah.
Oh, I love this family.
Yeah.
All matchy matchy.
That's cool.
That looks
That
rabid.
is yeah. Ooh, that's cool. Cool pick.
Sailor Moon, the whale.
Nice. On the right there.
What I'm liking about some of these is that it's no longer centered. Like the main character isn't centered, just slightly off center right there.
Right. Ooh. Yeah, that beach vista was awesome. Yeah, like so pause for a second.
Yeah.
What is it trying to decide? Like I'm picking a shish kebab or a girl in a mountainside, right? Like
Right.
what is it determining from your choice between those two images?
I don't know. It is an interesting thought process to walk down that, but I really love the depth of field here, the tight focus right there, and the food. It's just,
Yeah.
go with the vista. I like the colors of this one. I love her hair.
Yeah, me too.
I like the creepiness of that. I love this blue. That's just really cool.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this buildings. Skulls.
Skulls.
We're both skulls.
The birdie on the little, although look, it has an extra paw. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. The Chihuahua.
A dog reading a book. Yeah.
She looks like Rihanna.
With the cats in the kitchen.
I like this.
That
All right, final selection. That line is just awesome. You've unlocked your profile.
And I love how you can continue teaching your personalized model. Well, I had an idea. The beauty of draft mode is that you can iterate quickly. And so I had a thought. So there are two things I want to do here, which is compare our two personalizations and then also show the speed of draft mode. I think that's one place where it excels. And then also show the quickness of the personalization. So I'm going to show real quick a series of quick iterations on an idea. And then maybe if you want to do the same.
Well, I'm wondering, I'm curious to see if we can get the same idea to come across. So I'm going to say the same words, but is it going to be, because of our selections with the personalization, what does that mean? So
in terms of usability, right, you click draft mode and you get this start voice mode. So I'm going to use voice mode for these prompts, okay? And again, just to show you how you can start with one idea and iterate quickly, as soon as I click voice mode, you're going to see a lot of these things just immediately happen. So here we go. Show me an image of clouds.
Show me an image of clouds.
Now add a dragon to the clouds.
Now add a dragon to the clouds.
Now put a mountain scene in the background.
Now put a mountain scene in the background.
Now put a castle on one of those mountains.
Now put a castle on one of those mountains.
Now put a rainbow in the sky.
Now place a rainbow in the sky.
Okay. So I'm going to stop voice mode for a second and just kind of quickly go through this. Now, in the past, you'd have to type each iteration, or, you could always click rerun and all of these kinds of things. But look at just with our voice, and on my end, Warren, every time you spoke, it picked it up as well. So I actually ended up with 8 images. But yeah, but you can see how quickly I started with clouds, then moved to dragons, then moved to mountains in the background. That happened quick. And then we moved to a castle on those mountains. And then we added the rainbow. It all happened very, very quickly. And so that's the kind of iteration and refinement that you can do quickly. And then if you look at Warren's, same deal.
And they're fairly similar. There's only some minor like discrepancies, like the coloring of the clouds in these initial ones.
Now, another thing is, in our initial prompt, we didn't define a style and we didn't change styles in between those drafts, but I'm certain that you could. And what's cool is that, for each prompt, it kind of took the initial words and then added the additional information. And so it's neat that it can do that and you can explore quickly. Go ahead.
Let's look at the clouds. Go to your very first prompt.
Go to mine.
And I want you to see what's very interesting about this. So, okay, you've got a serene sky filled with various types of clouds, soft and fluffy cumulus formations, a hint of sunlight peeking through, tranquil atmosphere, natural beauty. And mine says fluffy cumulus clouds in a bright blue sky, sunlight casting soft shadows, serene and peaceful atmosphere, high definition, vivid colors. So we can see.
Did it draw on our personalization profiles to create
it probably
differences?
Did, because it says, yours starts out with a serene sky, and then it says vast sky, and then a majestic dragon.
Now, another note about images created with the draft profile on is that you have to enhance them. Apparently you can upgrade them, but I read a little bit about this, about how you have to enhance the image to get it, I guess, to the regular size or image quality. And so that's something to be aware, that these images are rapidly generated, and I don't think they're as high quality as when you are not using draft mode. I put in your fluffy, and are my clouds different from your clouds still because of my personalization choices?
A little bit.
They're a little closer to each other, but they're still different,
Yeah.
I
think the lighting,
similar.
The lighting is a little bit different.
We saw in version 6 that our lighting preferences did vary quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
But last week, I saw a post on LinkedIn, and they had explained that they'd used Midjourney as the storyboarding for an Oreo commercial.
Oh, cool.
And a Star Wars Oreo commercial. And it was pretty awesome. I was like, and it was really the exchanges between the Midjourney image and the actual final production was really pretty good. Like the definition and details and things like that. It was really well done. So Midjourney is doing a good job of, maintaining its position, I think, in the market. With the other advancements in other platforms, they've got some work to do as far as like character consistency, and some other issues that they're all kind of struggling with as well. But there are some intricacies of like ChatGPT where you can throw a picture in there and say, paint the walls red and add carpet, or make the floors hardwood, and it just can do that. And so Midjourney's got to look at what's going on with these other platforms and bring itself. Now, as far as artistic vision, I think Midjourney hands down just kind of really fulfills that creative itch for artistry, and they've got a great thing going for them.
Yeah, as I've looked around, so obviously we know that ChatGPT released its new image creator. It's available via Sora alongside its video, and it seems that there have been some video enhancements as well as some image enhancements, and there you can provide very specific prompts. And so, waiting at the edge of our seats for version 7, I looked on some Reddit forums as well, and people were discussing, well, what is the competitive advantage to Midjourney? And there were some people who were expressing alarm and concern, like, oh no, what's going to happen? But this ability to quickly generate images, that's one thing that I would say about the current ChatGPT image generation tool, is that it is a bit slower. And so we just popped out, I don't know, 20 some odd images each, just by talking, which is incredible. And so it moves at a much faster pace, and you can iterate, refine. I think when it comes to tools like storyboarding or other things, I think Midjourney definitely still has a clear and prominent position in the marketplace. But I think that there are some advancements, like you mentioned on ChatGPT, where you can give very specific image instruction that need to be considered as Midjourney looks to its future if it wants to stay competitive with other tools.
It's also interesting when I was playing around with ChatGPT's version of it. You can see my Batmans that I put in here. He's meeting the Joker. The Joker is the kid. So I was using Jim Lee's cover art for kind of the trial of this, and it created Batman, where ChatGPT was like, no, that's IP. I can't do anything with Batman. And so there's some ethical discussion, copyright discussion that needs to be still considered when we're using these tools. What is considered open to the public for use? Is Batman a ubiquitous character that can be freely created by anyone? I can certainly sit down and draw Batman if I wanted to, and no one's going to sue me for that. So what does that mean if we're using, these things for ourselves? And right. And it comes back to our initial discussions when we started this podcast and talking about these things, is what does that mean when I can use the same reference and I can draw that for myself? So interesting things to think about as AI evolves and continues to grow and expand, and how we use it and how we use it properly to augment our work and to augment our lives.
Very cool. So that is an introduction to Midjourney version 7. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of our Midjourney Monday series here at Tingenuity AI. Please like and subscribe. Check out the comments below, and we will be back soon with more information on Midjourney, ChatGPT, and all things AI. Thank you for watching.